This video will speak about working with the ancestors, concept of, and by the end of this video, you'll know about the concept of prehistoric ancestors, how they can help us in our lives, different ways to work with these ancestors, and how people have used prehistoric ancestor work to improve their lives, and how to work with the prehistoric ancestors for greater impact. So I'm Varney, spiritual teacher, author, podcaster. Please like and subscribe to the channel because there's so many more videos, and we're uploading videos every week. So whenever I do a meditation or a shamanic journey, I like to ask prehistoric ancestors for their help. And our relationship with these ancient beings can be very beneficial in our lives, and they can guide us through tough times, help us connect with the earth. They can also help us to really manifest really powerfully. And I'll discuss some ways that you can work with your prehistoric ancestors. I'll also share some of my own experiences working with them. And in shamanism, there is a belief that we're not alone in the spiritual world, and we're certainly not, we really aren't. And if we have help from our ancestors to live on it in spirit, they can help us with our current problems and guide us on our path. I'll discuss how to work with those prehistoric ancestors for guidance and healing. And as spiritual people, we often try to connect with our ancestors in some way anyway. It can be easy to do this. After all, many of us share the same cultural heritage. But what about our prehistoric ancestors? How can we connect with them, and what can they teach us? And I'll explore some of the ways that you can work with our prehistoric ancestors and the insights that they can offer us. Yeah. So the concept of prehistoric, first of all, what is prehistoric ancestors? They're the spirit animals, they're the nature spirits, they're the trees, the plants, the grass, the sky, the clouds, all those things that have been in our earth planet since the start of time. Yeah. Because the moon, the sun, all those kind of things. That's why it's very important, very powerful to work with the moon and the sun. A lot of people just work with them and they don't work with the sun, but it's very powerful also, with all those kind of things. So, and they can really help us in our life. And I remember when I was doing my soul retrieval practitioner program many years ago, God, almost more than 10 years ago anyway, maybe 15 years ago. And we were working with the prehistoric ancestors. And how we worked with the prehistoric ancestors was when we everybody does this, is what we're taught in our soul retrieval practitioner was that we steal soul, part of essence of souls, and some of our soul gets stolen. And what I mean by that is when we're in relationships and or even our siblings, our families, our children, our parents, this part of manipulation goes on, and when we keep them prisoner in that manipulation, part of the soul, they take that part, the essence, that part of the essence from us. That's another completely different video. There will be something about that on my channel. Just have a look for it. Be under soul parts or soul loss or something like that, because I've spoken about it in the past. But I've spoken about that many times. I don't know which video it is. But yeah, so and when we were doing this, and we had to look at what souls that we stole and write down. And I always thought, I've never stole somebody's soul. Why would I steal someone's soul? However, I had about 12 names on this piece of paper, which was really shocking. So it was. But so did everybody else. Some people had 20, 30, that was really, because you've got to be honest with yourself. So anyway, for us to release these soul essence that we'd stolen from people's souls, not knowing it, it was unconscious that we were doing this. What we did was we had to get flowers, beautiful flowers. Just go into the forest or the garden or what have you, and pick these flowers or leaves or whatever actually the person whose soul essence that we'd stole, we had to take part and get something, a stone. It was mainly a flower, to be honest with you. Could have been a stone, though, because you could have chucked it in. However, mine were mainly flowers and leaves and things like that, branches, things like that. And what we would to do was we put the name on, so we wrote the name out and then we put it around the flower or the branch or the leaf, whatever it was, and we put it into water and actually let it go. And 11 of my soul essence that I stole went, no problem whatsoever, went with the current of the water. However, one of those kept coming back, and it was a current one that it was a toxic, low EQ relationship many years ago now, and it just kept coming back, and that was the same in my life. It just kept coming back until I had to really bring in the ancestor, connect to the ancestor, the actual flower, because it was on a flower, and connect to the persons whose name it was, and connect to the soul essence, and bring the three of them together to say that I was taking, allowing the soul essence to go back. And when I did that, that's when it actually left. It went, and we were all laughing, how it kept coming back. I mean, we're talking, about 6 or 7 times that it came back, and we were just really shocked at because it was going on a water current, but it just kept coming back by the current the opposite way, so it was very interesting to watch. But that's one way that you can work with the prehistoric ancestors. Another way is meditation. You can go into the forest or just sit by the beach or whatever and connect to the sky, and sometimes when I do that, connecting to the sky, is I'll see myself floating up into the sky, sitting on the clouds, or going to the edge of the Earth's atmosphere and really looking down. Especially I'll do that if I want to release something, and then I'll see myself flying down as if I'm like an arrow coming back into my body without whatever it is I wanted to release is no longer there. It's gone. It's completely released. So that's another way that you can work with the prehistoric ancestors. There's so many. There's really so many. Another way to work with them is to ground your energy. A lot of people who are in the spiritual realm haven't got grounded energy. Their energy is not balanced. They're too much in the clouds. Airy fairy, as I say. They're not coming into the real world. They're not grounded in this world. And this is really, you need to be grounded in the 3D world. That's what you're here for. I know sometimes it is better up there, it's easier up there, but it's harder for you when you do come down to the 3D world. So that's why it's imperative that you really are grounded in your 3D world. As I keep saying to my students, confidence with integrity. When you've got confidence with integrity, you are very grounded in your ways, and you're very secure in what you know. You have a presence about you, that people respect and what have you. When you're in the airy fairy, you don't really have that so much. So they really help you ground, and by doing that, it's just walk on grass, bare feet. Walk on grass, bare feet. Yeah, and that really does set the intention to ground the energy back in, and any energy that needs to be transmuted, to always bring the energy out of the heels if it's being transmuted. If it's negative energy, it needs to go into the grass. If you're bringing clean energy into the energy center, into the body, you always bring it in through the pads of the feet. Yeah, so the energy for releasing is at the heels, and the clean energy is coming in through the pads. Always remember that, because it's a good practice to get yourself into. And that's one way. Well, that's quite a few ways actually that I work. I also work with trees. When I go on my walks, I talk to the trees, and I'll put my third eye, this part to the trees, and I'll ask the tree for guidance. And boy, honestly, the information that comes through. Sometimes I'll actually transport my body into the tree. I know that sounds weird and wonderful, but we all can do this. Every single one of us to do. A good brilliant is no longer alive now. Who can show you how to do this is Silva. Oh God, what's his name? Jose Silva. I'm looking at his books here. That's what I'm doing. Jose Silva. He's very, very good at showing you the techniques of going into walls and into. So you're basically shape shifting. That's what you're doing, and going into these beautiful trees and what have you. And you can get a lot of information, and you can feel the denseness, the heaviness, the lightness, whatever it is within them, because we can transport ourselves anywhere. We really can. And you will improve your life. You'll get a real round more awareness of when you're working, when you've got things around you and what you can actually do. You see things from a bigger perspective when you're working with these kind of ancestors. Yeah. Thank you for listening. I'm Varney, and please, if you would like to know more about working with your ancestors, please join us. There's so many more. Please join us in Spiritual Awakening Academy, where we really do work with the ancestors, the spirit. And if you're going through a spiritual awakening, or you've been through a spiritual awakening, you've had those magic glasses on, and it's hard to take them off once you've got them on, because you see the world a different way. We work with that world, we deep dive in there. And link below or link above here. Sweet. Oh, I thought I was going to sneeze there. Speak to you later. Bye-bye.